How are you doing, guys? Welcome to Knives or Words with me today. And today we'll be talking about nothing other than the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Stay with me. Okay, so it's no longer news that pupils, staff members were kidnapped from OYO State in recent times. And I like to look at it from a different perspective and a deeper insight that this might be a blessing in disguise. I am not insensitive about the situation. As a matter of fact, I am sincerely sympathetic towards those that are in distress right now over their loved ones and those that lost their loved ones in this process. And my prayers and my heart is with them in this period. But let's really look at this thing critically. In all sincerity, I say it is a big catalyst for the upcoming election in Nigeria. A catalyst that can help opposition to torpedo or tumble Tinubu's presidential race. What do I mean? The situation on ground, terrorism, is not news in Nigeria, but oftentimes it happens in the northern part of the country. And it doesn't make sense to me a lot because it's the northerners or northern people. Fulani, Hausa Fulani is a northern state ethnicity, okay? And it does not make sense to me that some are paid to kill the others like them. It has never actually really made sense to me. I know some people are on the social media with the narrative that, oh, when it was happening to the northerners, nobody cared. And now that is happening in the West, people are, shouting about it, coming on social media and talking about it. Yes, because I don't know if I'm the only one on this table, but it does not make sense to me that you pay someone like me to kill someone like me. It's just like saying a Yoruba person being paid or equipped or armed to kill a Yoruba person. It does not make sense to a southerner or a westerner because it does not happen that way amongst us. And so it's it is a very bizarre situation when it began to happen in the West. And the excuse as at 2029, I mean, sorry, as at, no, I said 2029, as at 2009, stroke 2010, when these insurgents began, they called themselves the Boko Haram and they said they were against the Western education. Okay, so them waging war against schools, we remember very well the Chibok girls saga. So them waging war against schools was something that should have been checked by the federal government at the time. But it quickly propelled into a political organization used to check, where politicians use it to check themselves. And in my own opinion, I feel it's in the northern it's a northern seat. Okay, it's a northern organization used to check um, powers that are in the presidential positions in Nigeria. And quickly sponsorship came in, and there was the like of the ISI, ISWAP, and the likes of them. There seems to be no end to the sponsorship, and it's looking, it's becoming a great business in Nigeria, terrorism. And they no longer hide their faces on social media. Okay, so uh, the recent kidnapping event that happened in Oyo State has caused a lot of uh, views, perception on social media. And this video I'm about to play was President Tinubu answering a question concerning the event. Okay. Uh, some people are thinking it's a delusional answer to the question, or probably he didn't really understand the question, or he evaded the question. What if he answered the question? Let's dissect it. Let's take a look at the video. Okay, so here's the video.
That is the law. That's obedience of law. Nowhere in the holy teaching that you should engage in banditry. Nowhere that you should kill another human being. The sacrifice we are talking about, even in the beginning of life, where we take this from, a child was replaced with animal. And that is what the value of life is all about.
You see, so he said uh, it's the sacrifice of love. I said it's the sacrifice of love, and there's nowhere where the killing of humans is accepted, right? And he mentioned something at the latter end of his statement. He said uh, the celebration, the Eid Mubarak celebration, was a situation where God replaced the killing of a child with an animal. All right. Uh, so listening to it, one can easily say, like, understanding the fact that it is not an Islamic thing to kill people. And so terrorists that are engaging in this under the guise of Islam are not doing it in glorifying God in any shape or form. And that the children, so to me, I'm of the opinion, always saying that because children were being kidnapped in this situation. And it's like an appeal, right? Like, it is wrong. There is no justification for the actions by the terrorists. Whatever thing they decide to base their actions on, there is no justifications for those actions. What do I think President Tinubu's position is on the situation? I think he is assuming the position of undeterred, undisturbed. I choose to believe he might be doing a thing or two about it. The situation of power too sometimes borders on compromises, and there also might be a situation where he is taking a personal stance of not being shaken by the event, if it is at all a political it's meant to be a political stain on his ambition, all right, or his position as it stands. But if we have to be sincere with ourselves, right, I think the fight against insurgents, against terrorism, this time around is going to be the play of the youth in the country. The youths are the only one, in my opinion, that can stop terrorism in Nigeria. What do I mean by this? So, the Nigerian youth over time have evolved out of the survival mode into assuming positions of financial freedom. The youth might not necessarily have political power or connections, but they are financially resourceful. The Nigerian youth have been able to earnest wealth from outside the shores of Nigeria, some within the shores of Nigeria. But when we're going through social media as youths, you realize a number of youths, a good and substantial amount of youths online have what it takes to actually cater uh, for their needs within the country. They are riding the latest cars, having the latest properties, going into real estate businesses, technological know how. So the Nigerian youths have found a way to survive the political class of Nigeria, the elites, the older ones. And I think it is time for the Nigerian youth to unify, not necessarily to start clamoring for political seats right now, but to actually raise the standard of living that they intend for their children. I am a youth as well. So the standard of living we intend for our children, because most of us have begun to raise children now. And so it is dire to us the essence of security in the country at this point. And it is not a situation where policies are written around how to cater to this particular problem within the country. All right. Um, Although yes, there are, you know, what would I call it now? Bodies, armed forces that have been equipped and saddled with the responsibility of flushing out the insurgents in the country. But if we have to be sincere with ourselves, over the past years, we've realized that the political elite, the political class, have been doing more of rehabilitating the insurgents, the terrorists, back into the society and uh, rehabilitating majorly. And the truth of the matter is, rehabilitation and freeing up some members of the terrorist groups has not solved the problem. It is a temporal solution rather. Most of the time, or sometimes, they release terrorist members in exchange for um, kidnapped victims. So in this situation, so they exchange the terrorists for the victims so that the victims can go to their houses. Yes, in a situation where you are trying to find a lasting solution to the problem, that can be a temporal solution to the problem. But it is getting out of hand to a situation where nobody actually knows where they're going to strike. And in such a situation, one needs to clamp down as fast as possible. It's not the situation is not beyond the country yet. Okay, the only thing fueling insurgents right now is appealing to the reasoning of the terrorists to provide their needs. okay, and make them feel like a rated member of the society. And as youth of the country, we can come together and achieve this. How? What do I mean? We can achieve this through um, eradication of insurgents in the country. And the way we will go about it is by applying ourselves through the resources we have, the financial resources that we have, to first divert the attention of the population, or let me say the target of recruitment of members of the society into these terrorist groups, by diverting their attention through uh, developmental events, or developmental how will I put it now, establishment, in lack of any other word, and create developmental platforms, yes, for northerners. The Almajiris are in numbers in the north, and so they are easy targets to be recruited into those groups. Okay, so if members of those societies, northern societies, find um, a developmental platform that does not risk their lives, and where they are being told that, having an essence of life, procreating, getting married, settling down, getting a job, and living a decent life can actually go a long way to appealing to the minds of the young people that are being recruited into these terrorist groups. And so when there is a dwindling number of uh, recruitment into the terrorist group, eventually the terrorist groups begin to die. That is one. Two, uh, we can apply for um, for grazing and farming schemes, okay, where youth of the country, it can also be a means of financial innovation, all right. Youth of the country establish, you buy lands and you establish grazings, okay, you establish grazing, sorry, and they can be employed. The Fulanis can be employed, kept busy to work in these ranches, these grazing lands. They are private, they will be privately owned by youths in the country, where they are well taken care of, provided for, the basic needs are being provided for them. And on the other hand, whoever owns this land is making money by providing the grazing land for private people who intend to use the land, for their own livestock. Okay, so that is an opportunity there that we can work on. And also, this event that just happened can open the eyes of the youth to seeing that it is time for us to actually begin to position ourselves in having a voice at the seat of the political table. All right. Another thing we can do as youths right now, social media, this is quite the easiest one we can do. The easiest one we can do is to petition international security agencies, petition local security agencies, focusing mainly on the private ones. Okay, most of security agencies whether be it internationally or locally, have private parastatals, have private companies, okay, that can work, that can be mercenaries, all right? And they don't necessarily need, they already have international licenses to carry out their operations. So they don't necessarily need a government license to carry out operation. And besides, it can be a cover-up operation within the country. Okay, so it can be on the low, eradicating and pushing back, but most importantly, freeing up victims within these terrorist camps. Okay, so what we can do quickly right now is to petition uh, security agencies locally, internationally, to come to our aid. The reason is because this might appeal to some of their goals, their visions, their missions on the long term or short term. All right, that is why I'm saying it is a huge catalyst. And if we are able to actually bring security agencies to the table to discuss this, of course, this will need major funding. All right. And the easiest set of youth that can do this are the youth in diaspora, okay, who have loved ones here. They can actually spearhead this. Also, local youths within the country can join the force. And so this is where we are calling on the big names amongst the youths. Okay, there are a lot of youths online that we know have the funding, and there are a lot that are not online that also have the funding. Okay, so albeit yes, everybody wants to do things for their benefit, I am saying it is a land of opportunity, or anything can be benefited at this point. Okay, depending on what you want to do. If you want to continue as a capitalist, you want to continue, you want to start political um, platform or party, these are ways to actually begin to solidify and create, build foundations for yourself in that regard. So I'm saying it is possible, but we cannot leave the eradication of insurgents in the country in the hands of the political elites, because they are hugely compromised because of the position that they occupy. All right. And it is up to we youths to do something about it. And I believe if youths are actually serious about this, where we can unify, come together to fight insurgents, I think it will go a long way. And in this situation, I don't think we will have the barrier of ethnicity, because even if we say the northern youth are quite different to south or southwestern youths, but in this situation, because they have more of uh, victims, they have more of the experiences. Now talking about the northern youths, I think they will come to the table to do something about the situation. And the southwestern southern youths, south youths are basically doing it for the sake of security, protecting the territories that have not been hugely infiltrated by these terrorists. Okay, now how it applies to the present time. Doing something about this event now. The reason why I say it's a blessing in disguise in this situation is because it has happened in the western part of the country, the southwest. It has happened in the south too, Benue. And the reason why it's a huge catalyst right now is because the elections are coming up. And the scariest thing for people in the political power is them losing their job or losing political relevance within their party or amongst the people or the electorate. It is a very good time to do something about it. Signing a petition alone forces their hands publicly, all right? And President Tinubu wanting to run for presidency will have no other choice. Come next year, we'll have no other choice but to do something about it. If all they can do is release terrorists for the freedom of the victims, I think that is a chance that we should take right now. A quick solution is important. Okay. Let's also not rule out the possibility of child trafficking in this situation. And children are sacred. In a situation where they begin to toil with children, it is escalating beyond what it should. And they've been doing this in the past, and we need to curb that. All right. So it is a very good catalyst of delving a blow on insurgents in the country at this time. Also, if there is any time for opposition candidate parties, flag bearers, or anyone vying for position outside the APC, this is a very good time to actually delve a blow against the APC. All right. If you want to make any kind of political career for yourself, because there are a lot of new faces coming on board right now. Omowole Sowore as being a face, all right, and Peter Obi vying from NDC, Seyi Makinde vying from APM. It is a very good catalyst to torpedo the government in power right now and direct the power to your own new political parties. One. Two, become a force in that political party where they can't do without you. And then you become like a major stakeholder in that political party. Three, it gives you popularity amongst the people. If you are able to come to the table and join or begin a petition to security agencies, both locally or internationally, if you are able to spearhead it, get youth to follow you. And in this situation, I'm talking to Peter Obi, I'm talking to Omoyele Sowore, I'm talking to Seyi Makinde. These are situations, these are events that you can change the course of history for a very, very long time. I don't know if I made sense, but it seems to be there might be a point or two in what I've just said. These are just my opinion, all right? And please, if it does make sense, like, share massively, and subscribe to the channel for more insightful takes, perception about events and happenings within and outside Nigeria. All right, and that will be it for today on Nice Awards. Do join me next time and have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.